Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast, hashtag EP. I am one of your hosts this week, Wrestling Chris G, and on the other line with me is my rival buddy, good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, man, how you doing?
If I treated you like Trip Cheat's ass, you wouldn't stick around long.
I might. It might make me a better person.
No, because Trip's an asshole.
I love the bad guy. Because I want to find out when I want to know when Trip is finally going to get his comeuppance. So I'm in for this.
That's fair.
So how you doing this week, man?
I'm all right.
That's good. That's good. I'm holding a Pokemon pack and I'm rubbing it on my head right now because I need a break. I need a fucking break. This pack is going to be better than last week's pack. Oh, come on. It's an Evolving Skies Pokemon pack. You think I'm going to get something decent this week, Doug?
I think you're due.
I think so, too. But this is episode 669, episode 10 of Black and White. It's called a rival battle for club champ, or translated from Japanese, rival battle, tough enemy.
Jesus.
Pururiru.
Clunky.
Yes. Sorry, I don't speak Japanese, so I can. Some Pokemon I can say in Japanese, but some of these I just feel like they're just putting words and letters together. Pururiru.
You're gonna get letters.
How am I going to get letters? I'm literally trying to pronounce this word and I can't.
Yeah. So, well, sometimes I think some of these words are just putting letters together.
You didn't have to repeat it, Doug. But all right, everybody. So this week's episode premiered in Japan November 18th, 2010, and here in the States it premiered April 9th, 2011. All right, Doug, and what year does your date happen?
2009.
Okay. So you're going first this week. What do you got for us?
So on this day, that would be April 9th, 2009, the mockumentary television series Parks and Recreation debuts on NBC.
Get the fuck out of here.
I wouldn't lie to you. I might look at the wrong date, but I wouldn't lie to
you. All right. Mine happened in 2018, and it's wrestling related, just like last week. But this one kind of hits home a little bit. This was when former WWE superstar Paige retired from the ring after getting kicked in the face, basically, by Sasha Banks and having neck issues and not being able to wrestle anymore.
Yeah, she had issues for a while, and she worked her way back, and she came back. I think she was only back for a couple of weeks. I mean, long enough to go on a house show loop, and then, yeah, there was a kick in the corner by Sasha during I think it was like a 6-woman tag. In fact, I know it was because Paige was part of a 3-woman group. And I think we first kind of figured there might be some trouble because Paige had to be pulled from the Battle Royal at Mania.
Yes.
And, she was on commentary, and you could kind of tell that she didn't really want to be there. But yeah, so she came out and she talked about how her WWE journey started in this building because she debuted the night after WrestleMania 30, and she beat AJ on her shocking debut, and then she said it's fitting that I end my journey here, and she laid her T-shirt in the ring, and I mean, you could tell that she was like on the verge of tears, and I think she talked about it in interviews after the fact. She's like, because Daniel Bryan was there, and he kind of had gone through a similar thing, and a couple of years before that, she's like, him being there helped because he was able to kind of take my hand and guide me through, and it sucks
Yeah,
because she worked her ass off to get back.
just to be told that she's not going to come back because freaking.
Well, I mean, have you seen the clip?
Oh, I've seen the clip, and it was a clear as day, just freaking boot to the face. And I think they played it.
I
I think they
I
played it on Raw because they had to
I
kind of highlight and like a big circle around her face. What were you about to say?
I disagree. I think it was just one of those freak accidents. I mean, she's probably done that corner kick thousands of times. It's like freaking Goldberg didn't intentionally kick Bret Hart in the head. He might have because he was kind of a green fuck. But how many times had Seth done that buckle bomb? And I mean, should he have been doing it to Sting at 50, whatever the fuck he was at the time? Probably not.
No.
Should he have done it to Finn Balor on the barricade? Probably not. I mean, just accidents happen. I mean,
So yeah, I mean it sucks. Did you hear that Zelina, and this is Pokemon related. Did you hear Zelina Vega got a new tattoo? And it's a Pokemon tattoo.
how did you hear about it?
Cuz it just made a headline on my wrestling spoiler website.
Chris, I told you not to go on OnlyFans while we're doing the podcast. For goodness sakes.
Hey, they didn't get rid of the porn. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Um
they flipped that script real quick.
so but yeah, she got a let me see if I can pull up her tattoo
Careful
because it
now, careful now, careful now.
well I'm trying to see but yeah I can't really I can't find a picture of the tattoo. I guess she was talking about it. I didn't even know the bump was a thing still. But
I couldn't. I mean, that sounds familiar, and it gets referenced from time to time, but they had a podcast version for like 2 months, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're not doing that anymore."
so but yeah no it kind of made headlines and I was trying to find a photo of the Pokemon tattoo, but it doesn't. Oh, there it is. It's an Espeon.
Oh,
it's on her forearm. Yeah, she got an Espeon tattoo on her, and she said it's her favorite Pokemon.
I was gonna be mad if it was just like a basic bitch Pikachu or something.
Oh, why? Because Pikachu is so common.
Because it's basic.
It's not that basic.
No, Pikachu is basic.
What? Pikachu's your basic bitch.
Yeah, well, no. If you think of Pokemon, you think of Pikachu.
So yeah, no, you're not wrong. But yeah, she got Espeon on her arm. So there you go. That's some Pokemon news for you. You ready to jump into this week's episode, bro?
If I have to.
Oh, I'm excited. I know you're not, but I love me some Trip in a Pokemon episode. So let's hit this one going. So we're finally in Nakreen City. Well, no, he's Ash is looking for the Nakreen City gym, and he's running through the town. They're in Luxuria Town.
Solid town name, if I have to be honest.
I know. Um, so Ash is running through the town and he's like, I found it. And he runs up and it looks like a gym, but we find out that it's not very quick. It's a battle club.
And he
And
is just looking, and he goes, he runs straight over to the freaking Battle Finder computer, and he's just punching in numbers. And then we see
he's
a
looking
beat
up
late.
all the trainers that's over in the area. And all these trainers look like they can whoop his ass because I'm looking at all the Pokemon that these trainers have.
Oh, you have a sharper eye than I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then a beat later, we see Silent and Iris walk in the door, and they're exhausted carrying their bags. And they say, "What the fuck is the matter with you running off like that? The fucking Battle Club isn't gonna run away."
So, and Ash is just so excited. And Iris, already 34 seconds into the episode, she's like, you are such a kid.
Hated it. Hate it every time. I know it's coming at least once, and I hate it every fucking time.
And Ash gives out a big and scares the mess out of Iris to the point where she actually says, you scared me to death. And Ash is like, look, it's Trip. And at this point, Iris is like, wait a minute, who the hell is Trip? And then freaking Silent is sitting here and he's like, oh, there he is. He came. Oh, well, we're getting ready to get the title sequence, but after the title sequence, uh, Silent admits that um, he won himself a badge over at his gym. Doug?
And so we know that he's at least at this point in time we know that he's at least got some type of equal footing with Ash. And then um, Ash kind of fills in Iris to who Trip is. He says, he's the first trainer that I battled in the Unova region. Um,
At Professor Juniper's lab, not
eh,
Dr.
eh,
Juniper.
right. And he kind of leaves out the fact that he got his ass kicked, and he said, "I'll be ready to battle him again." And Pikachu's hype, and then the Battle Club
Owner.
owner comes over, and he's like, "Ah, so you want to battle Trip, huh?"
And
He
this
goes,
kind of trips up Ash for a second. He's like, didn't I just see you in the last town? And he's like, oh no, that was my cousin. So we're back in another paradox where we have at every single battle club, all the owners look alike, just like all the nurse Joys look alike, all the officer Jennies look alike. It's another paradox, though.
and their name collectively is Don Johns,
Yes,
and the only separating characteristic I can see is their wristbands.
their wristbands and the color
Oh, I guess, and their
of their neck. What's the word I'm looking for? The
basically
the
their
collar.
outfits, the
Yeah,
collar and the belt of their outfits. I didn't notice those at. I noticed their wristbands at first blush, but I didn't notice the belt or the collar of their. I don't know if they're geese or.
yeah, they're just their outfits, and some of them look like they were drunk in their photo in the
Hey,
photo.
the old family reunion.
So, but he walks back over and he's like, "Allow me to get Trip here for you. I'm gonna contact him on the let's see, what does he call it?
He uses a stupid fucking word.
Uh, it,
Um,
it's a
cross
crossceiver. Cro-
transivire or whatever.
yeah, yeah, Cross transceiver.
That's it. It's dumb. Just say fucking
It's
communication device for
and
goodness sake.
people are like, aren't don't you have the subtitles? Yeah, but the word that he used, they transcribed it wrong in this episode, and I had a problem when I was first watching it too. It's called a cross transceiver, but it's spelled XTRAN, and they have it as X transceiver instead of a cross transceiver, but it is called
Yeah.
a cross transceiver.
I don't know if I like the fact that anybody can just ring me up.
I don't think everybody has it. I think it's only given to certain people or people that are registered to these battle clubs, so you can try to get them whenever you want to.
But you have to register to compete at the battle club, right?
Yes,
So it's kind of a paradox. So to compete at a battle club, you have to register, which means you're at the whim. I mean, I guess it only works if you're within the limits of the town, but that's still kind of, pardon me, kind of creepy.
just a little bit. But Ash didn't even know anything about this. I don't think they talked about this when they were in Accumula Town a few weeks ago.
No, because Ash was just fucking gung ho to get out there and get running again.
So, but it's at this point they start ringing up Trip's phone, and we see Trip is out taking photos and basically living life the way that he is. And his watch starts ringing, and Don's right there. He's like, I found someone who's looking. And Ash kind of shoves him over, and he's like, Hey Trip, long time no see. He's like, It's Ash, and he's like, You're in town too? He's like, that, and Iris is like, that's right. He's traveling with us, and my name is Iris. And freaking Silent jumps into the frame. He's like, hey Trip, nice to see you again. We're traveling with Ash. Doug?
Gee, and yeah, Ash is like, so you want to battle me? And Trip's like, pass. I already beat your Pikachu on my first day out with my Snivy that had no experience. It would just be a waste of time. And
That was such a bold statement, though.
and then Ash was like, he only beat me because my Pikachu wasn't at full strength. He couldn't use his electric attacks because of
Zekrom.
Thank you, Zekrom. And he's like, it'll be pardon me, it'll be a different battle. And then Silence kind of caught off guard. He's like, Zekrom, and Iris is like, yep, saw him myself.
Um,
And
but it's at this point that uh, that he's like he's talking to Trip, and he starts shaking the computer, and Don is in the background. He's like, be careful now. Don't go breaking anything."
cocaine's
And
a hell of a drug.
I know. And he's Ash is shaking the computer. He's like, "Come on, battle me!" And then out of nowhere, Trip hangs up the phone, and coming through the door is freaking Trip. Right in through the door. He's like, "I can hear you from all the way down the road." Gee,
And
Doug.
then Ash runs up and he's like, so you're gonna battle me? And Trip's like, all right, easy, Tiger, maybe. And so I guess you're prepared for a full 6-on-6 battle. And Ash is like, well, you see, no, because I'm allergic to the number 6, and I only have.
That is not what it. Doug Doug hates that Ash always keeps one spot open on his belt.
Now, I mean, at this point, to be fair, he's legitimately only has 5. He hasn't even.
No, he could have caught that Scolipede in the last episode.
He could have, but he did. But I mean, but I don't count that against him because he didn't even bring out a Pokeball to attempt it.
No, he
He
didn't.
was just more worried about getting Axu free. But
But
yeah,
but yeah, he shows freaking Trip his badge. He's like, I got a badge, and Trip is like, well, I got 2 badges. And he's like, just like you said, are you ready for a 6-on-6 battle? And Freaking Ash is like, well, I only have 5 Pokemon. And,
And Trip's like, well, forget it. That's not worth my time.
and freaking Trip is like, he's like, you've only caught 5 Pokemon and you've been out here this whole time.
technically, technically, he's only caught 4 of them.
True. Because he came into town with Pikachu.
Right.
So he's only caught 4 Pokemon and all of them have just basically followed him. And freaking Trip is like, yeah, it's not even worth my time. You don't even have 6 Pokemon. And he's like, this is going to be the same type of battling as we had before. I already know the outcome. And this is
And
when Iris finally makes some type of sense, Doug.
yeah, Trip turns around to leave, and Iris is just standing there and goes, Jesus Christ, you all talk like such little kids, and it works the same on Trip that it does on
On Ash.
Ash. And he goes, oh, little kid, huh? And he goes, all right, Don George, will you be our referee for our 5-on-5 battle because this guy's allergic to the number 6?
And Don George is like, yes, I will. And he's like, I already know this is going to be a waste of my time, but I'm going to sit here and battle you just so I can prove my point.
And Ash is like, gee, thanks, mister. Dude, he's so fucking eager. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, yeah, he almost tore the computer out of the wall.
Yep.
You know, he ran up to him as soon as he went, you gotta battle me, I gotta battle, you gotta, he's like fucking Tyrone Biggins.
Oh, but that's why I love these episodes. I love when Ash is getting ready to battle his rival, and especially when
So
it's a whole episode.
so we step into the arena and we get the rules. It's gonna be 5v5. You can substitute at any time.
And the only way you can win is by incapacitating all 5 of your opponent's Pokemon.
So, and we see that Silen and Iris and Axu are watching from behind the boards, and Don George begins the battle, and Trip starts out with the evolution of Pidove, which is Tranquil.
Yes.
Which, boy, does Dexter get a workout in this episode. I just now put that together.
Yeah, I know.
Because, Ash Ketchum sees Pokemon and pulls out Dexter. So we get
Ever since episode 1.
so we get the rundown of Tranquil, and then Ash counters with Oshawott, and Oshawott just comes out mean mugging like he's ready to fucking go.
What an idiot. What an idiot. This pissed me off because
Oh, this is where you get pissed off.
boy, flying type is good against water type. Why the fuck would you send out your Oshawott instead of sending out your Pikachu, which can freaking counter this Tranquil?
Because he has instincts.
It's fucking bullshit.
So,
But
Trip,
but even Trip looked at him. He's like, "You're using an Oshawott?"
well, yeah, it was that, and then he kind of had a moment, was like, wait a minute, is that the same? And he's like, yep, that's the Oshawott from Professor Juniwood, Jiminy Crickets.
From Dr. Juniper.
Yeah, her.
From Professor Juniper's lab.
So,
But Ash starts the battle off by telling Oshawott to use Water Gun, and Water Gun blast out. Trip tells Tranquil to dodge it and to use Aerial Ace, and then it's just done.
oh yeah, he hits one swipe, knocks the shell off of the body, comes around from the other side, and just knocks him clean. 2 hits, Oshawott's out of there.
Tranquil is the winner, so it's now freaking Trip 1, Ash 0.
And we find out that Tranquil has super luck ability.
Yes. And super luck, for those that don't know, we are told that uh, it has the power to have more super effect on a
Critic on a critical hit.
yeah, on a critical hit. My bad. It raises the chance of landing a critical hit. There you go.
Yeah. So, pardon me. Ash calls out for Tepig, and well, old Tepig is he's determined.
Trip says he's being pretty straightforward. He's like, your water type didn't do anything, so now you're going with a fire type? Yeah, straightforward.
Basically, and I mean, he calls him basic later, but he basically called him a basic bitch.
Yeah, for real. None of his Pokemon are evolved. But he tells Tepig to use Ember. Pig uses it, Tranquil dodges it,
Dodges.
and he tells him to use Ember again. And Tepig is just he's not hitting him at all. And Tranquil at this point starts using Double Team.
And then, um, after the double team, Trip tells Tranquil to use
Workup.
workup, and then we get another what is workup, and then it raises it. We find out that it's an ability that raises attack power. I mean, we are getting thrown right into the fire of these extra abilities, and I'm here for it.
I know. And freaking
So the
Tranquil
copies
uses.
of
Oh, sorry.
so the copies of Tranquil are glowing red, and they just bum rush
Tepig.
Tepig, and Tepig gets two shotted, and he's out of there.
Yes. Aerially. Boom. Boom. Done. And freaking Tepig is unable to battle. Tranquil is the winner. And freaking Trip is already starting to get a
And then he
bug
called him
up his.
basic. He called him basic. He might as well called him a basic bitch.
Yep.
I'm saying.
So he Trip is like he's like, you should definitely start from the top. And and Ash is like he's like, yep, basic. And he's like, well, we're just getting warmed up. Pikachu, let's show him some real strength. And
I prefer to start my battles in an O2 hole.
I know, for real. But
Jesus
this
Christ.
is when
We're getting
we get caught up with your favorite part of the story, Doug. We get caught up with Team Rocket.
Yes, I was super excited about this. So Team Rocket is at the junkyard. It looks like, and they Jesse says, or is it no? James is talking. James says it looks like we got here.
Just in time.
Well, he actually says sooner than we needed. So they're kind of sitting there, kind of just standing around looking cool in their trench coats, and then we hear an Officer Jenny, and
Officer Jenny
she's
got a buzz cut.
Officer Jenny's got a buzz cut, some nice blue hair, and she says, "Thanks to the Officer Jenny from Stryton City, um, your arrest warrant popped up on our most wanted list, all over the Unova region." And we see that it looks like it's the entire squad is just surrounding the place.
And Jesse's just smiling.
And she's like, I'm in a fucking trench coat. You can't fucking touch me. And we get a nice little like sun glint on her sunglasses. Like, yeah, I'm a bad motherfucker. And some shit's about to go down. And then we get thrown back into the
Ash and
battle.
Trip battle.
Yeah.
And Pikachu starts using an electric attack at this point, and Trip actually laughs, mocking Ash. He's like, "Huh, so Pikachu really can use electric type moves."
Hated that because I was like, you understood he wasn't. It was the fucking legendary Pokemon that was
Yeah, but Trip didn't see it.
trips up his own ass.
But it's at this point we find out Tranquil is very strong, but only knows select moves. So he tells Tranquil to use Work Up again, and then to use Aerial Ace. And from Aerial Ace, Pikachu just gets hit with the 1-2 combo, but Pikachu is still in it. And obviously, because Ash has had Pikachu for like 15 years, even though he's 10.
Yeah.
And and Trip is he's like, I think it's time for number 3. He's like, Tranquil, Aerial Ace, one more time, let's go. And Ash tells Pikachu to grab Tranquil. Pikachu dodges the aerial ace, grabs him by its leg, freaking whips him around, and Ash is like, Pikachu, throw him. And fucking throws Tranquil, and then he's like, Volt Tackle. Pikachu starts glowing. Trip tells Tranquil to dodge it, but he can't, and boom! Freaking just knocks Tranquil out, and Tranquil is unable to battle. Pikachu is the
And you
winner.
go, and Ash goes, "See, it's different than when you battled me at Numa Town." And
Yep.
Trip's like, I suppose so. And he goes, but you'll never be able to beat my uh,
Servine.
Servine, and it's the evolved form of Snivy.
Yes. And then that's when we get the Who's That Pokemon, and it's Servine. So, of
What
course, they're
a,
keeping to the Pokemon that's in the episode.
I was going to say, what a novel concept. I mean, at least Kanto is back to, it's going to be the Pokemon that's going to be featured in the next episode, so that's not so bad.
Yeah.
And then
So,
Ash is completely dumbfounded. He's like, I can't, I didn't know you could evolve your Pokemon.
he's like, well, damn, he's evolved all his Pokemon. He evolved his Pidove, he evolved his Snivy. Yeah, Ash, because he has a concept that's called train your Pokemon.
He's not sitting on a goddamn tree stump for 25 minutes.
Freaking looking back and forth and watching getting fried by a freaking Dragon Rage.
And then willingly taking a thunder shock.
For real.
Jesus Christ.
And then he calls Ash basic again.
Basic bitch.
Yep. And he's like, uh, Ash is like, no way, Trip is going to beat me this time. Pikachu, are you ready to win? And Pikachu's like, Pika. And a freaking Iris is like, he's like, man, Pikachu means business. This is great. And this is when we find out that that Trip defeated Chili's Panseer using his Servine, which that's pretty ballsy because Panseer is the fire type, and he used his grass type to beat it.
Yeah, I feel like if Ash tried to do that, everybody and their mother would be ragging on him. Like, don't you know, you stupid kid, that grass is weak against all that bullshit?
Yep.
But
But
that's okay, because now we're back to the interesting stuff.
yes. So, all right. Let's see. So we go straight from this, and Doug, I'll let you go over your favorite part.
So Officer Jenny is placing Team Rocket under arrest, and Team Rocket's not flinching, and then all of a sudden a truck comes barreling through the entrance, and the same serious dude from the picture that Giovanni showed them last week, the additional agent, says, "Get in," and the
And
officers are
then
like, "You're not going to get away."
after those men, and they just fly out of there. And then we find out that they're on a bridge and that they're resisting arrest according to Officer Jenny. And Officer Jenny's like, "Oh no, the bridge is out." So the bridge is under
Of course, the bridge
construction.
is out. The bridge is always out.
So it's at this point that they drive the truck off of the bridge, and from there we see the lid truck blast off of the truck, and their Team Rocket blast off into the atmosphere using jetpacks. The freaking truck itself blows up from beneath them,
Just
and
big old fireball.
they're up in the air, and this new mysterious guy hands James over a briefcase and says, "I was told to give this to you." And the guy's like, or no, James like, "You must be the new agent." And he's like, "My name is Pierce, and
And
don't
don't you forget
forget."
it.
And he
And
just flies off.
he flies off. He's so fucking cool. And then we're back to the battle.
I never thought I'd see the day that you're looking forward to seeing Team Rocket.
Because they're doing the cool shit.
And they're only giving you a little bit per episode too.
Give me the Team Rocket spinoff. I'll watch that in a weekend.
So we're back to the battle, and Ash tells Pikachu to use Iron Tail, and Servine is told to use Cut, and it's at this point that they both um, they basically clash their attacks, so neither one of them gets hurt.
Yeah.
And Servine is told to use Leaf Tornado, which is the move that defeated Pikachu back in their first meeting. And
And you can rationalize that it's probably that much stronger because it has evolved.
yes, and Ash is telling Pikachu to get up. Pikachu is trying. He tells it to use Volt Tackle, and Servine is told to use Cut again. And this time, Servine's move hits Pikachu, and Pikachu is knocked out.
And then we have the the stereotypical anime clash, and we're kind of cheated because usually the collision happens and then they both stand there and then one of them falls, but Pikachu just immediately comes out of Volt Tackle and is just out.
Yes,
And Servine is declared the winner, and Trip is now up
three.
3 falls to 1.
So, and freaking Trip looks over at Ash and he's like, "Why don't you just give it up?" He's like, "You only have two Pokemon left." He's like, I'm up three, and I still have a few more Pokemon left in the can as well." But Ash has a plan, Doug.
And so Ash calls out his Snivy, and Iris is like, he should have called out his Pidove. What the fuck, you know? And then,
What
kind of
would
like
you
you
have
said,
done, Doug?
what would I? I don't think I would have called out my Servine or my Snivy. I think I might have called out my Pidove, even though my Pidove would probably get cooked.
Yes.
Because, like, I understand Servine's the secondary form, right? Like, there's one more to go.
Yes.
But still, evolution is evolution. So,
But but yeah, he calls out Snivy, and he tells Snivy to use its Vine Whip, and freaking Servine is dodging it, and freaking uh, we here comes Leaf Tornado again from Servine.
and I mean, obviously, Snivy gets caught up in it because, evolution. But Snivy is able to kind of shake that off a little easier because it's basically an attack coming from within itself. And Ash is confident. He's like, my Snivy's still going to win because I'm the babyface and I have to believe that.
And Ash actually said, he's like, it takes a lot more than just evolving to become strong. And
But there's still no law against evolution.
no, there isn't. You evolve your Pokemon should be stronger. I mean, it might not be quicker, but it should be stronger.
But then Ash kind of has a bit of an ace up his sleeve, and he's able to have his Snivy use Attract
No, not yet. He tells it to use Vine Whip again first, and then to distract Servine, and then use Attract.
Right.
Sorry. And we find out that his Servine is a girl, and Trip is dumbfounded. He's like, "Your Snivy can use Attract? What the fuck?"
And Snivy takes. I'm so glad one of them loses here because this is getting ridiculous. Snivy takes Servine to the cleaners and uses
Vine Whip.
is it Vine Whip or Leaf Blade?
It is. He uses Vine Whip yeah, Vine Whip,
And
and then
then
he finishes it off with a Leaf Blade.
knocks Servine for 6, and Ash and Snivy score a bit of the upset,
Yes.
and Snivy is prouder than shit of herself, and
Pikachu's over there
Ash said
dancing. Pikachu should have been battling if it can be up freaking jumping like that.
he was knocked out.
I know. Just saying.
He was out though.
So, but
He
yeah,
couldn't answer he couldn't answer his count. He was out.
but this is when Ash finally gets the idea to let Snivy rest, so he calls it back. Trip throws out his Frillish, which we are told it says it's the floating Pokemon, and it is said to live in dens of 5 miles below the sea level. So how the hell did he get one of these?
Well, he's a photographer, right?
Yes,
So he's probably just out and about trying to get the best shots he can.
it's true. But Ash, of course, he only has one other Pokemon, so he sends out his Pidove, and
Well, he's got 2 because Snivy isn't out yet, but
I know, but still. But Ash has shown what all of his Pokemon are, and we still haven't seen all of freaking Trip's Pokemon yet.
this is also true.
So Pidub uses Air Cutter, and Trip tells Frillish to use Protect, and then freaking Frillish uses Water Pulse after that, and it's a one-hit KO. Freaking,
Yeah, so a lot of good resting Snivy did.
I know. But Water Pulse just demolishes Pidove, throws it up against a window, and freaking Ash
Why,
calls it back
why,
into its Pokeball. All his
why's the bird
Pokemon,
got it? Why's the bird got hit the window, man?
because it's funny. But
Just
that was it. That's why he didn't use Pidove at all against freaking Servine, because it would have just gotten a Vine Whip and just would have been done.
that would have been it. Yeah,
So
100%.
so Ash tells Pidove to take a rest because why not? And freaking Trip is ready to just end this battle. He's like, haven't you just had enough? He's like, you only have one more Pokemon. I still have more Pokemon, and you're way behind. Why don't he's like a proper trainer would just give up at this point, which is right.
I mean, but I don't like the idea of throwing up the white flag.
All he has is Snivy.
But I would rather take the loss and get the XP.
That's true. So he sends out his Snivy, and Doug, do you want to go over the next parts of this battle?
So yeah, Snivy comes out and Ash immediately is telling Snivy to use a Vine Whip, and Silent and Iris basically have heart attacks. Well, Iris more than Silent, but she's like, "You can't do that. Don't do that. It's not smart. Don't do it." And
And freaking that's when we find out that freaking Snivy is in a trance now.
we find out that um, What's the
direct attacks over
what's the
uh,
Pokemon? Frillish.
Frillish.
Frillish has another one of these abilities that we've been
It has a
introduced
cursed
to throughout.
body.
Right, and basically means that direct attacks to the Pokemon will be ineffective.
Yeah,
So because Snivy tried to use Vine Whip, right at Frillish,
it
now
did.
Snivy is fucked.
Yeah, Snivy's moves have been disabled at this point, and freaking Iris is having a heart attack, and she's like, "You can't attack a Frillish directly, you idiot! You're such a little kid for not knowing that." And she is not one to talk because wasn't it the last episode where she was telling Ash to just be quiet during
Yeah,
during her battle?
yeah, and that was just a training session. This is an official club battle.
So
I'd punch her in the nose, and I'm against violence to women.
so, but it's at this point that not all of Snivy's moves are freaking disabled. So Ash tells Snivy to use Leaf Storm.
Which is the little cousin, apparently, to Leaf Tornado.
Yes. And Frillish just used Protect and blocked the attack again and used Nightshade. And Nightshade looks like a creepy move.
Yeah, really.
And do you want to go over this next part, Doug?
So, so, yeah, if my fucking cursor wanted to cooperate. So yeah, the God bless America. So the Nightshade, and then Ash gets a decent idea. Pardon me, to use Attract, and Frillish can just leave.
Yes.
Just float up and just get away from it.
Yeah,
So
it dodged the attract attack, which freaking Silent sat there and he was like, that must be a pretty high level Frillish to be able to dodge that attract attack.
he's quite a robust opponent. No shit. Um, so Ash basically at this point is fucked, but he's gonna go down swinging. So he tells Snivy to use Leaf Blade, even though it's fucking pointless, and it hits him, or so we think, and then um, we find out that
Then
that
now
attack,
that attack is now disabled.
and now poor Snivy is confused after Frillish uses Water Pulse, and Trip tells Frillish to use Hex, and Hex just looks like a bad motherfucker.
I know.
And
And
we find out that Hex is going to be doubly effective because Snivy is confused. So Ash is cooked.
and it's at that point that freaking Snivy loses and freaking Trip ends up winning, and there was two of Trip's Pokemon that we still did not get to see. So we saw three out of the six of his Pokemon that he has on his belt. So,
So we've left for intrigue for later encounters.
so Ash calls Snivy back into its Pokeball, and Trip just walks over and just wants to put the cherry on top. And he's like, man, he's like, all your Pokemon are just a complete joke, and so is their trainer. He's
No,
like,
no,
what?
no, 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 no. I don't like Trip, but he does compliment Snivy and Pikachu.
Okay, outside
He
of
says,
Snivy and Pikachu, all the rest of your Pokemon are a joke, just like its trainer.
And then Ash gets up. Ash is kind of all over the place because he wants to punch Trip because he basically gets called a joke right to his face.
And a little kid by us.
Well, but that's daily at this point. Um, so he gets up and he's like, what did you just say? And Trip turns to Don George and says, thanks, but I got to get out of here. And Ash runs after Trip, and we think, oh, he's gonna tackle him, or he's gonna throw hands. And he says, "We need to battle again." It's like, dude, calm down.
Yeah, he's like, let's battle again someday. And Trip is like, we'll see. He's like, after all, battling is basic for a trainer, of course.
I hate that. He's ruining basic for me, and I hate it.
So Silent comes over and says, better luck next time. Iris is there, and she's like, until then, you'll just have to train extra hard. Now, don't you be upset about this.
And Ash is like, "Oh, I'm not upset. Bullshit."
I know.
I was tearing my hair out at this ending because it didn't know what it wanted to be.
Ash is like, so I'll train hard and get a lot stronger. So the next time that we battle, we'll have a different outcome. Right, Pikachu? And Pikachu's like, Pika. And then it's at this point where we're getting the fade out. They're saying goodbye to the freaking Battle Club gym. And we get the to be continued. And that's the end of the episode, Doug.
It was better than last week, but not by much. But better is better.
Yes. So, what would you give this week's episode?
Uh, Probably like a 2.5.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna give it about a 4. And
A
and
four.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I have
Because
a heart attack.
even though this wasn't a gym battle, it was a battle club episode, which Ash was training his Pokemon. We got to see his rival. We got to see 3 of his rivals' Pokemon. We Ash got his ass handed to him, and it was a whole episode that just had to do with just battling. We got educated with some new Pokemon. Team Rocket was some pretty badasses in this episode. So
They
I'm gonna,
weren't on screen long enough.
I know, but I'm gonna give it a nice solid 4 this week because I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and I like Trip's dialogue.
Yeah,
But
it's ruining basic for me.
basic bitch. But all right, so it is now time. I have an evolving. Oop! I dropped the pack of Pokemon cards on the floor. I have a Sword and Shield Evolving Skies booster pack that I'm getting ready to open now. Let's see. There we go. All right. Yay! And I do have a white card on top, which is already promising right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What energy card am I looking at, Doug?
Um, I'm gonna ride the hand. I'm gonna still say psychic.
Fire.
Ah, shit.
I got a fire energy, a Hippodon, a Tentacruel, rubber gloves, a Cutie Fly, a Hitmonchan, a Lotad, a Sableye, a Teddy Ursa. I have a reverse hollow Rufflet, and ooh, I have a holographic Victini. Nice, and that is my
Oh,
rare this week.
there you go.
All right. All right. And if you want to see any of these Pokemon cards that I have pulled, go and follow us on Instagram, and I post all of our cards that I do on these pulls. And if you go on there now, you're going to see a lot more cards as the time that this episode has been dropped because this episode's not coming out for a while. But yeah, do you have anything else to add, Doug, this week?
No, we've had a. I was gonna say a decent couple episodes, but that would be completely backtracking on my complete burial of last week's episode, and I'm not gonna do that. So we'll see if Black and White can continue the momentum when we look at episode 11 next week.
All right. So, with that being said, Doug, go ahead and say goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G telling all of you I will see you next week for next week's Black and White episode. And don't miss this upcoming Friday's Kanto episode, everybody. Have a good night, everyone.